Alright, so welcome to digital lesson. So today basically we're going to continue from our previous class. So in your previous class I've talked about the process of a basic idea behind simple standalone Java programming and all the requirement needed to write a simple Java code. Alright, so today basically we're going to look into the second type of application that Java can be used for. That is basically applets. So what is an applet? Applet basically is a small Java program that is basically embedded within a web page, and it can be executed by a web browser. So basically we are looking into an online based application. The code itself can be downloaded automatically by the web browser and run through the web browser interface. um, so this is basically the basic idea, the reason why Java is being introduced, so that it can be used in web browser. So it is basically a program written in Java, of course, that can be included and can be embedded into a web programming called HTML. Okay, so when we look at HTML page, you can easily see, or any website that you can go to, as simple as the follow. You just right click and look into the page source. So inside there you can see there's a HTML tag or script that basically describe about how a page is being represented. So when you use the Java technology enable browser, so this must be enabled in the web browser. So there are certain web browsers that support Java technology. uh, so you need to install the plugin required, or the Java virtual machine that is required to run uh, the applet. To create an applet by extending the class JApplet. Alright, so this is basically when we look into the Java programming. So to develop a simple Java applet, so we need to import a special class called JApplet. So class JApplet contained in package java.swing, the interface package, but we are not going to go into deeper into applet programming. More into applet. So basically it's just a small program, a small Java program that is basically a standalone program, right, with a main method. So something similar with the standalone, with the one that we've learned before, but the the the, the program can be embedded into web, can be transported into web, and then execute through the use of web browser. Okay, so an applet also can be executed using applet viewer tools of the Java SDK. But the difference is that an applet doesn't have to contain any main method, which is the public static void main, but instead there's several special methods that's dedicated for the applet programming. So for example, applet method need what we call as init method, the initialize method. So this method basically initialize variable that we want to use in the program, and this init method also perform data gathering from user, and it can be placed in the GUI component and graphical user component. And the second method is paint method. So in this method basically it shows the output process from the init method. Okay, so basically the paint method allow for the output to be shown on the interface, applet interface. So the print method is executed automatically, so whenever the applet content are drawn. So this method, the print method, accept a parameter that is an object from graphic class. So swing, the package that I described earlier, that is basically representing graphic, because Applet is a graphic based application. Okay, so a graphic object define a graphic content, which we can draw shapes and text and buttons. So the graphic class has several methods for drawing shapes. So for example, in this simple programming example, that allow for the following class, Einstein. So this is basically just to show a simple example of how to design, how to draw an applet. So as you can see here, there's two import needed in this application, in this applet application, java.swing.japplet, and the other one is the interface itself, java.awt, and .star means that all the classes that are available in AWT package. So as you can see here, this is just a standard Java programming. So you have your class here. This is public class. This is the name of the class, Einstein, and there's some special requirement here. Whereas we need to extend, we need to have the class to include JApplet in the program, in the application. Right, so this is the class, and then inside there's an open curly braces and there's a closed curly braces. But as I mentioned earlier, there's a need for paint method. So this paint method basically will design the interface needed to have the output shown to user, the applet, the graphical applet shown to user. So here the instruction basically just to have the page or the applet to draw a rectangle, and this is the parameter for the rectangle, and the location of the on the screen, 50 50 40 40 this is the square size, another rectangle, and this is the size of the rectangle. This is basically position on the screen. Okay, so the position, there's a 4 position needed on the screen to have the rectangle draw. So you have the 50 60 100 and 120. So this basically describe a rectangle. So if you like to draw oval, so this is basically describe about a circle, a draw line. So you can see that 35 60 100 and 120. So it is straight line extend from 35 60 100 to 120. All right, and then to put string on the interface, so we just page draw string, and you put whatever string that you like inside here, and the location of the string where you want the text to appear, and also the same with this one. So the output shows something like this. Okay, so you can see here, this is the location that showed the first triangle, the first rectangle, the second rectangle. This is a straight line, and you have a circle, oval here. This is one oval, and then there's a text inside here, out of clutter, find simplicity. So the location of the text is in 110 and 70 x and y location. So it goes the same with the Albert Einstein. The location is at 130 here, 130 and 100 x and y. So it basically describe the position of the text. Right, so the applet that needed to run the class is this. So this is the page applet. So if you copy this into a notepad and then you save the file together with the class file, so basically you can run the HTML file and you can get the HTML file to run the applet. Okay, so this is the HTML file. So HTML start with HTML tag and end with HTML tag. So this is basically another programming, another scripting that you're going to learn if you are into applet programming. So you can see here, this is the title of the page, this is the head, this is the body, right? So inside the body we put the code, applet code, and this is the name of the class generated once we compile, once we have the code, and this is the size of the applet. We can define that. Alright, so this is further describe about the Java applet, so in much greater detail. So you can see that there's a need of these two library, or these two classes, graphics and JApplet. And then you have your main class, public class, welcome applet, extend JApplet, so open curly braces, close curly braces. Right, so and then inside this this is also another example. So we have this class, ground welcome class, extend JApplet, and then you have one method inside here, open method, close method, and this is all the pin out or the design of the interface for the applet. Welcome to, sorry, this is Java programming. And then you need the file, so there's actually two files needed here, the Java file that will be compiled into .class, and then another file that you need to write into another text editor, and then you need to save this within the same directory of your class file. Alright, so enough about applet. So later I'm going to show you how to use that applet. So Java platform is a hardware and software, so it will require both. Of course, the hardware, the computer itself, and the software that supported the execution of the Java program. So it also can be defined as a combination of the operating system and the hardware. So I did mention that Java is a multi-platform application that can run on different operating systems. And Java program is different with other platforms because it is the only software that execute an application on different hardware platforms. So this is the best thing about Java. It can run on multiple platforms. So again, so I keep on describing about the Java virtual machine. So as you can see here, again, the Java platform requires Java virtual machine. So this is basically the virtual computer. We can call it as a virtual computer that translate class file or the bytecode file into machine executable instruction. And then if there's any API needed, such as swing, AWT, it will be called together by the Java application programming interface. Alright, so you can see that this is the basic structure. So you can see this is your code, and then you have the Java API will be combined together and execute into class, and the Java virtual machine will run the codes together and run on the computer. So we're going to look into JVM in much more detail. So what is basically a JVM? So JVM is sometimes also called as the interpreter. Okay, so the one that run the class file. So it basically convert the class or the bytecode into operating system specific command, specific instruction. So in addition to governing the execution of the application bytecode, JVM basically handle every system memory, every security against any potential codes, malicious code, managing all the programs, requirement, resources. So it is like a computer within a computer. So it basically manage the program or the bytecode that's going to run on a computer. So JVM basically the one that execute the instruction. So without JVM, the program cannot be run. Okay. So this runtime environment is embedded in various products. So that's why you can see that there's Java everywhere, in the web browser, in the server. Server is basically where we put most of the web document. So it hosts a web document, and then most operating systems support Java. The Java application programming interface. So this is where all the classes or the pre-written code that is available that can be used by user without having to rewrite the code. Okay, for example, so if you like to develop a graphical user interface for the applet, you can use the applet API and the AWT API package that already available or pre-written in the API. um, you want to create font, menu, buttons, input text, everything, something like that, provided by the API, so that you don't have to rewrite the codes for the interface. So basically, at the moment there are three editions of the Java API: the standard edition, the enterprise edition, and then the micro edition. So the standard edition basically developed for standard standalone application, or the client side means that the application that will be run without any special requirement to run on a server. Okay, so whereas the enterprise edition, it allow to have a server side application to support such as Java servlet and the Java server pages, JSP. It means that it is much more advanced compared to Java SE, where it allow for the server side application to reside in the Java 2 SE, EE. In the third edition, in the third type, it is for mobile application. If we develop mobile based application that run on Java, so we can use the Java 2ME to develop for that particular small embedded devices. Alright, so now next we're going to look into the first programming. So we need to understand, because we're going to use string, the definition of string itself in programming a lot, because string basically describe about a certain operation, or it help user to input data. It tells user enter your name, enter certain type of input required from the interface, or it also can be used to show data to user, or maybe you can use this as a variable for certain operation. So string literal is represented by putting double quotes around the text. So yeah, you've seen before when I define a string variable, so I put this double quoted. Okay, so double quotes for any string that I would like to use in my program. So this is the example that you can see here. This is a string literal, so you have this double quoted. It must be ended in this. It must be put into this double quoted quote structure. So basically, every character string in an object is an object in Java. So because string literally handled by string class, so basically you can further perform advanced operation to the string, such as if you like to get the length of the string, if you have, for example, there's a certain variable that represent this, so basically you don't have to count how many character in this string. You can just use a special method that can call or check the length of the string with the string class method provided. So basically every string literal represent a string object. So string is one special component, one special class handle for any string usage. So basically we can just use that variable to further do some processing using methods available in string class. The second most used method is print line, and print line handled by system.out. So you can see that I always use system.out.print line. So this basically will print out value or string to the screen or to the terminal. Okay, so it is object represented a destination to which we can send output. Okay, so whatever that you put inside this string parameter will be shown on the terminal. So the use of print line, you need to start with system.out.println, and you can see that in netbin it basically you can just, when you press dot, it will basically show what are other options or methods available in the system. Okay, so you can, when you put dot, there's a lot of options you can select from. Print, I described about print before. Print just one line. Print line, when you print out that value, it will go to the next line, and then to the next line, and then to the next line. But print, no, it just print out the value straight away without going to the next line. Okay, so for example, something like this. So you have your class countdown, and then you can see that system.print. So you can see 3, 2, 1, 0, and then you have print line lift off. Most of them we have a problem. So basically this is how the output of the program will show if you write the code and compile it in your netbin. So you need to create a new project for this, right? So you can see there, this is the same line, and then this is the second line. So when we have the last one here, print lift off, and then moving on to the second line, print line. Next we have printf. Okay, this is quite special. So in the printf method, basically we're looking into a print out string value that we get from either from user or from the programming. So the structure of using printf, basically it will require certain additional parameter that needed throughout the use of printf. So for example, the use of system.printf, we have the special format string with the specific structure, and then the item or the variable we want to display in item parameter. So use printf method in order to use the above format, and it only supported in JDK version 5 or higher version. Okay, so for example, something like this, right? So you can see there, printf, format string, and the item itself. So for example, if you like to format certain data, okay, so output of floating point value, you can look strange. You can take a very long number. Okay, so price per liter, the value is 1.21997. Alright, so when we look at the value, we like to control the appearance of the value, so we can use printf to change the value. Okay, so if we put it something like this, a percentage dot 2f means that we just want to have this in 2 decimal value. Okay, comma price, this is the variable. Okay, sorry, this is not supposed to be the definition of the variable, so we just float or double price equal this value. So when we put it something like this, it will print out 1.22, and it will choose the closest to the 2 decimal point. So if we print out something like 10.2 float, so it will basically use 10 spaces in front of the value. If you like to have this in a longer structure, it will accommodate in the memory by this additional 10 spaces. It will allocate 10 spaces for the value. So this basically allow user to format the value. Okay, so this is a special printout value if you like to have a specific instruction how the value appear in this computer screen. Alright, so there are some other specifier that you can use in the printf. So for example, D, this is for decimal integer, F, this is for float, S is for string, C is for character, B is for boolean, true or false, N is for new line, line separator, E for exponential value. So there are some other specifier that we can use further to format our output. Okay, so for example, string. So if you like a string to have 10 width, so you can have total value here with the negative 10s, means that you want to have 10 spaces for this string. So you have to control the behavior, how the output of the text will be shown on the screen. Or you want to have a right justify a number with 2 decimal places. So you can see here 10.2, so this is 10 width but with 0.2 decimal places. Alright, so basically the printf is print format. Okay, so the data that, or the string they would like to print out on the screen, formatted using this modulo. As in modulo is a percentage, I'm not quite sure either one, as in modulo. So it basically describe here what are the format that we like to use, and we can even combine the format into multiple format here. Okay, so you can have multiple value to be printed. So for example, you have the 10s and modulo 10.2, so you can see that the s here referring to string, 10 string, and then you have 10.2, so you have another 10 width for the number that with 2 decimal places. Right, so you can see here a left justified string that describe about the first one, and then the second one is for this one. So we just modulo 10s modulo 0.2f, so it refer this to total and 10.2f to price. Alright, for the string concatenation, so this is for string operator. So whereas if we see a string variable, we can use the concatenate, we can combine the 2 string together. Okay, so it basically will append the 2 string variable when we use a concatenation operator, the plus operator. So it can also be used to append a number to string. Okay, so string can be combined together with number. So a string literal cannot be broken across 2 lines in a program. So we see some example here. So you can see there's a class fact. So inside here we have a string. Okay, so we present the following fact for your, and then plus extracurricular edification, print line. So this string can be concatenated into one long string. A string can contain numeric digit, so it will treated as a string if we put 12 in the string parameter here. So it will become not number but string. So another example for string, so you have this plus 672. So a numerical value can be concatenated to a string, so it will plus this value. You will see the output later, and then another value here, and then another value here. So you can see the output. Okay, so here in Lagrange event temperature is 1515. So 672, and then another 140 kilometer per year. Sorry. Alright, so the value, I've shown you this before with the use of the long string and then the variable value that hold that value we want to show to the user. So the string concatenate is also arithmetic addition. So if we use number, so we want to use the concatenation for the number, so it will become arithmetic operation, plus, minus, addition, and multiplication and division. So you can use that operator to perform mathematical operation. So you can plus numbers, but when you plus a string and number, it will become string. If you plus or you concatenate numbers, that depend on the operator that we use. Okay, so the operator is validated left to right, so from left to right, but parentheses can be used to force the order. So this is the addition operations. So I've shown you also this before with my example. So you can see here the method print out 24 and 45 concatenate plus 24 plus 45. So it will perform the operation from left to right. And also another one plus, and then it perform within the bracket. So you can see the value here when we have two value that we add, right? So you can see it basically act as string plus 24 plus 45. But if we be specific of what operation they would like to perform here, so it will basically perform whatever in this bracket first before we show the value of the operation, which is 69. Okay, so there are differences here, one with plus without any bracket and one with bracket that will do the operation, whatever operation first in the bracket before moving on to the other operation. Okay, so when we put plus here, we basically want to have the value concatenate with the string here, but in this example, the second line here basically will do the mathematical operation 24 plus 45. So you can see here, you can tell what are the output for the following print line instruction. So x, this is basically print out x equal to 25, but for this one it will add the following number 15 plus 50, and then it will show the value of this operation. But for this one it will basically just show 330,050. Okay, we'll combine together this and will act as string. Okay, alright, so basically that is all for this topic. Thank you. So later in the class I'm going to show you some example and how to write the codes for Applet and how to write the code for the one that I've shown you in the slide. So that will be later when I come back to the class.